Welcome everybody. I'm Billy. What are we going to do today? I think it's woodworker number 3, and it is what do you call it? A playlist. A playlist of hardware. This is number 3, and it's kind of a piece of hardware that most woodworkers may not relate to. I don't know, but I was kind of scouring the internet for, hey, what could I draw that would be interesting looking? And I ran across a knife blank that a lot of woodworkers that are into um, creating knives or making their own knives, they would find very nice pieces of wood to make handles for the knives. So this blank pre-made, you buy them and you shape your handles to put on there, use different types of wood, things like that. So, and I'm sure I'm telling you something you already know. So that's what it is about today. And let's jump in. Here we are in FreeCAD. We're going to go ahead and start an empty file. And what are we going to name that file? New, open, close, save. Save as. I'm going to call it just for right now, a knife blank. Yeah. Select save. Let's start a body. And we'll need a sketch. And I will use the YX plane. Double click on that. Have to ensure my preferences are set to inches. Yep, imperial inches. We're good there. Okay. Apply. Okay. All right, so we should have 1 inch blocks here. For a knife blank, woodworkers would normally shape wood as handles for the knives and buy the metal knife blanks. So that's what I'm going after here today. It is there are several profiles or outlines of knife blanks online. I'm going to be using one and I don't have dimensions for it, but I'm just going to use my own dimensions, what looks right to me. So I'm going to be inspired by their shapes, add my dimensions to it. I'm not sure I want to use their images and possibly infringe on their intellectual property. So this handle, the handle is going to be about 4 inches long, and then the blade itself, that will probably be like a 6-inch blade, just to give you kind of a rough outline. So to the right of this vertical Z-axis, I'm going to use the handle. So we know we got 4 inches, there's 4 blocks. Let me go ahead and put that in there. I have for some reason I have to turn my snap function off and then turn it back on, and the snap works. Alright, so I'll go from about here. We got 2, 4, so the handle snap to that line. We go down to here, back to here. Okay. then I'm going to come out to here. That's a redundancy right there. I'll take care of that in a little while. 3. Come out to here for the blade. And close it there. Alright. Now what I have to do is remove some of these redundancies. I think if I select that one and hit delete on my keyboard, that helps. There you go. That line straightened up. Alright, this portion here, let me go ahead and give you let me close out the sketch and show you what I'm going after here. I'm going to pad it, type 3, enter. Okay. So what's going to happen is this is going to be, we're going to use this face here to draw the profile of a blade, and then this is going to be the handle back here. Currently the distance here from there to there, I'm going to set that at maybe, let me see, I'll probably go with about 1/8 of an inch, because 2 pieces of wood have to fit on either side of that. So I'm just doing general shaping right now. Back to the sketch, double click, I want that to be 1/8, 0.125. Okay. And I want this and this line to be 1/16. Point 125 divided by 2. There we go. Alright, and then this part of the blade here is going to be roughly 1/2 inch. Yeah, that should work. 1/2 inch. So from this line to the y-axis, I'll set that at 1/2 inch, 0.5, and we'll do the same over here. This line to the y. Actually, I'm going to change that to 1/4 for both of those. 0.250. There you go. Alright, now let's fully constrain it. We've got 3 degrees of freedom. Hopefully this will make sense once I start working on it. You'll see my approach. There's other ways to do this, but it's just my method. Alright, give the handle a length here. Alright, and then I know that, where's the 1 degree degree of freedom. Not sure. Let me select this and see what it shows me. So it's showing me lines 2, 3, 4, and 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. As I hover over these, you'll see it in the 3D view come up. So, alright, this is where my brain is not working well because I thought I had it locked in. I'm just going to start grabbing these lines and pulling on them and see what moves. So using my left button on the mouse. Okay, I see now. I thought these were locked onto this vertical, but they are not. So what we have to do here is just grab one of these points, grab that one, and this vertical line here, the z-axis, and use this to make it coincident. Nope. All right. It didn't like that. Huh. Oh. Oh, I don't have a line drawn in there, I think. Let me pull this dimension. Pull it up. Yeah. There's a line segment under there. So what I'm going to do is just take this line segment, select that, and this line segment here, select that, and then align them together. See this symbol up here? It's going to be, it'll automatically choose a vertical constraint and line them up, or it should. Impossible constraint. Okay. There may be some other things I have to do here. You know, it really shouldn't be this hard. So I think what I will do, it may help if I just give this one a dimension. We'll see. Yeah, that's all it took. And that fully constrained it. All right, let's close out of here. Alright, now I want to draw the profile of the knife here and the handle over here. I'll start by selecting this face, put a sketch to it, and I might go with 1 inch here. So again, I'm rough shaping it. I believe I'm going to go from here out to maybe here. Alright, let's do this. Let's put a 3-point, put there. I'm going to go over to there. And I'll go with something like that. Alright, I'm thinking this through. Apparently I don't have a very good plan going on here. That's how I roll sometimes. That's going to kind of give me what I'm looking for right there. Yeah. And then I'm going to use that same 3-point again. This time I'm going to go here over to that's kind of sort of in the neighborhood of horizontal there. But I need to come over to this line here. Here we go. And I'll select there. And then I'll just put just a slight curve on that. There we go. I might want to pull this down some. There we go. Okay, I'm looking at the shape I want to do and just trying to figure out some things here. Straight edge there. And then I'm going to do a 3-point arc again. And I know I want to start there. And then I want to be, this line here represents the end of the handle where the blade and the handle intersect. I want to go a little past that. Up into that range there. Something like that. You can see the knife taking shape here. Okay, I want to put it on that line somewhere around there. Then back here, I'm going to have a line that goes from here to approximately there. A line there. About there. Then a line there. To here. Alright. Now I know I want to take a line from here, bring it sort of to here, straight, right click, and then we're going to do the 3-point arc there to there. A slight curve ending there. Alright. So you can see the blade, you can see the handle. Now I want to put some radiuses in there. Here we go. Use this command here. Radius from here to here. Huh. Alright. Let me right click. Get out of that. Alright, let me try that again. First, I think I need to select it. There. There. fillet. Guess it wants me to select after I select the icon. Try it again here. Round that out. And we'll leave that as is. Okay. Now let's see if I can lock in some of these designs here. What I have. I'll start up here. Hit some of the radiuses. And I'll accept whatever I have there. Radius, I'll accept. Yeah, I'll accept that radius. This radius here, I'll accept that radius. And then once I get to those radiuses identified, now the center points of the radiuses need to be dimensioned. So I'll go from here to that Z or Z. I'll accept that. I'll take the center of this radius and go from there to there, and I'll accept that. And we'll take this radius center point and this z-axis. Turn the I had to turn off the snap. Put that there. Okay. Okay, and then this line here, yeah, that must have been the intersection of those the straight lines. Okay, so I have the radius center points from the Z. Now I need, I keep calling it Z. I've been watching too many of the videos coming from the other side of the pond there. All right. Now let's go to the y-axis. There to there. I'll accept that because it's kind of, we're doing free-form design here. Select that one to y-axis. Accept it. Now we have to, that one's going to the y. And okay that. All right. I believe we have a couple of simple things to do, like maybe this line here just needs a length. I'll select that because it's already locked into the Z. It's already locked in horizontally and vertically by us locating these radiuses here, or the fillets. Technically both. All right. Give this up a little dimension. That one's okay. Right click. I'm just going to pull this down, try to clean these up a little bit. Alright, 10 degrees of freedom. So I went from there to, oh, I just gave the line a length. What I should be doing is going from the z-axis to this point. So let me delete that. That's what I want to do, hit that point there to there. Take that, okay. Then believe we can give that a length. There we go. Working my way over here. Alright, this is a straight line. I could give it a length, but whenever you have arcs involved, straight lines kind of align themselves to the arcs when you have them constrained. So I want to get the arcs first, you know, the center points of the arcs and the edges and things like that. So let's work on that. I'll start here. Grab this. I'll accept that. At the same time, I have to locate that center point to the Y. And I'm just accepting everything here. Alright, and that center point needs a dimension to the Z. However, yeah, well, let's do that. Looks like it's going to be a very tiny dimension. I mean, I could make it coincident to that line. I don't think that's going to upset anything. Let me try that. That would be neater. Select that. Select the Z. Do coincident. Nah, didn't like it. So let me select the coincident. Delete it. I think it's because it creates tension with the rest of these dimensions by me trying to move that over. So let's just go ahead and give a dimension from there over to the z-axis. I know it's a very tiny number, but nope, it didn't like that either. Alright, I want to try to just, since I have the radius, those lines are coincident. Maybe if I locate this point here to the z-axis. That, yeah, okay, that kind of locked in that radius. All right, now this radius here, oh wow, that center point's way up here. All right, let's go ahead and at least get a radius on there. I'll select OK with that. Yay. Now from there to Z, I'll accept that. And now I just need to get that down to the Y. So select the center. And it's already gone, defaulted to the Y. Select OK. And now, I believe what's left is for me to give a dimension from this endpoint over to the Z. Select OK. Alright, we're good. Now we just have to work all the way up here. All right, we want a radius, select that, come up here to dimension, accept the radius. I may not even have to locate this if I locate that point, but I'm trying to keep doing what I've been doing and just locate the center points. So there's that center point to, yep, that fully constrains it if it just goes to the Z axis right there. Accept it. Okay. All right, now I'm gonna show you something here, and then I'm gonna show you something, if that makes sense. Probably not. All right. You see how that knife, it overextends that block, but I want to show you something a little different here. My method. I'm sure there may be a better way, but let's say that we take that sketch right there that I just did, and I pat it. You can see. Wonder if I can. Oh, I did a pad. I didn't want to do pad. Let me cancel that. What I wanted to do, let me select the sketch, was a pocket. So there we go. So there you see the pockets going in there. And then I select through all. We have an outline of a knife. Now, how can we do that? We want a negative of that. We want to pocket, but we want the knife remaining. So here's how you do that. Cancel. Let me fix this tip here, because that block has to be, I'm going to extend the blocks on that sketch there, which was done on this sketch right here. So I'm going to double click that sketch. There you go. And this 6 inches, I'm going to make it 6.5. Just make it a little bit longer. And I want this one to be a little longer too. 4.125. And that's just to make sure when I close it that, what happened there? Okay, I need this block to be past that. All right, now let me go back and double click the sketch here. What did I do wrong? It changed that. All right, let me set that back to 4. Oh, you know what? This has to go to 6.5 too. 6.5. Here we go. Maybe that's what the problem was. Let me close it and see. Yeah. Are we there? I can't see. So what I'm going to do is use this to get in there. Yeah, I'm well inside of that. Well inside of that. So I'm going to flip it back up. There we go. That white with the white background is very difficult to see. I see it there, I see it there. But we can see that the block overhangs the edge of the knife handle, which is what I want in order for this to work. All right, so now how do we get a negative of that knife? I'm going to go back into this sketch pad, and I'm just simply going to draw a rectangle around it. As long as I am outside of this gray shaded box, I'm okay. Let me go to, I'm just going to use the snap grid. Make it a little easier. Yep, snap that corner to that corner and give it dimensions. 5 inches, good. Give this one dimension 12. Okay. 2 degrees of freedom is because these two lines need to be dimensioned, so I'm just going to set them equal. That one, and set it to equal. And it did not like that, so let me undo that. Go up here and undo it. All right, let me try a different approach here. I'm just going to select that line and just put a dimension on it. I'm going to right click to get out of it. Right click. All right, what am I doing wrong? Maybe, oh, you know what? These sides are, since it's a rectangle, these sides are already set to equal. What I need to do is locate the rectangle. The size of the rectangle's been set, but it's not located to the in this case, the X and the Y, so let me locate it to those. In other words, we grab this corner here and this Y-axis, give it a dimension, 1, and then I should be able to select, this one, and then select that X and just drop the dimension right there. Okay. All right, so let's close that. Let me flip that over. That doesn't look good. Try to get it into a position where it looks okay. All right. Let's see if my method will work. If I pocket it now, and then I pocket through all, I'm now left with a knife blank. Okay. Not too bad. But there's more. Let me select OK. So what I have to do now is thin this blade out here. I'm trying to figure out how I do that. I see that I need to draw another profile. So here, let me go there. I'll draw another sketch, and see, this is all in one body. We're doing all this within one body. Do a sketch there. Let me turn this a little bit. I want this flat space to be there so that when you cut the piece of wood, you can put the handle up against the blade. But then I need this to come around and form a blade. So what I'm going to try to do, I know that I want the line to come down right about through there and send it back to here. My first line is going to be approximately here. Cut this, turn that snap off. There you go. All right. straight down. I want a little bit of an angle to it. I'll select it right there. Okay. Now we're going to kind of do what we did before, sort of. As long as we're on the outside edge of that knife, it doesn't matter where we draw this out here in space. We just need to be outside of that knife edge. So go down to here to there. I'm going to close it. And then I'm going to put a pocket. Alright, I'm going to check symmetric to plane just to see what that looks like. Okay, that's not what I want. Oh, okay. I drew the piece that I just machined out of the side of that metal blade knife. I drew it on this surface here. So if this, right from here to here, if that's 1/8 of an inch, then I want the blade, pretty sure I want that blade to be thinner, maybe. I think I do, or actually I can make it the same, and then we got to put a sharpened knife edge on the bottom there. So why don't I go with 3/16 from there to the center. Let me turn my origin on. Okay, so that's 1/8. That might be about right. Because I think it was 1/2 inch from here to here. So let me see how long that line is. I'll select that line and come up here and select this. Wait a minute. First I got to OK the pocket. Well, it says what length do you want. For right now, I'm just going to put 0.125 because I got to figure some things out here. Oh, wait a minute. All right, I got to do some math. Minus the memory equals, and I want 203. I'm just going to use 203. Close that. Right click on the pocket to edit it. And we're going 0.203. We'll select out here, and there we go. I'm so sorry for that. Was so painful. I might cut that out of the video because it took so long. Alright, so our knife is starting to take shape now. What I would like to do is to repeat that pad on the other side. So let's see if that is feasible. Can we take that pocket or cancel? Can I use that pocket and mirror it on this plane. Huh. Alright, delete that mirror. I guess what I could do is another pocket. I might have put myself into a corner here. Let's see. Just trying to see if I have what my options are here. I was just looking for an easy button, but I can see what I have to do now is copy this sketch and do another pocket on the other side. So, all right, let me go into this sketch here. And I'm going to select these items here. And I'm going to Control C. All right, what I'm going to try to do is copy this sketch, relocate it, and then reverse pat it. So I keep the orientation. If I copy this, because what's important to me is this line right here, that I get that right on both sides. If I copy these lines and bring it into another sketch, then I can mirror it. Let me give that a try. I've got this selected. I'm just going to hit Control C. Control C. And let's close it. I'm wondering, this was the face that I used right there to create the sketch. So let me try that again. Select that face, create a sketch, and now if I just Control V, there you go, it dropped it right in. Dropped it right in. However, let me close it. And let's see if we can move that sketch and then do a reverse pad. So I'll take this sketch right here, right there, and over here, she should be able to do a, do I want an attachment offset or a placement? Let me try a placement. I'm going to do a position. And we want to go in the Z direction. Yeah, let me pull this out. I believe we should be able to put in, if it's already negative 0.25, I should be able to put a positive 0.25 in there. So let me put 0.25. It's not letting me do it. Okay. All right, that's fine. That's fine. Let me get back to where I was. All right, it won't let me move it there. Attachment offset position. Let's see if it allows. Okay. yeah, the Z axis, I want to go, let me try 0.5. Now let me put a negative in front of it. Maybe it'll go to the other side. Okay. So far, I'm where I want to be. Okay, I'll accept that. Select there. All right, I move the sketch over, and I should be able to select this sketch right here and do a pad. And reverse it, because right now you see nothing there, but reverse it. Oh my goodness, it works. I amazed myself. And it might even be the right number. But I'm not sure. All right, I'm going to select OK. All right, so we got 2 pockets. I'm going to go to this pocket over here and see what dimension on edit pad it was. 0.2030. So I want the same for this. I might as well, since that's flashing blue, hit a Control C to copy it. Come over here to this pocket, edit the pocket, and see while that's flashing blue, I can Control V and place that there. Select here. Okay. Alright, I don't need to turn these origins on or off anymore. Let me turn that off. There you go. Alright, I think now you can see what's happening. What we have left to do is put smooth this out a little bit with some fillets, and then I need to put a knife edge there, and we need to put some holes through here for the wood to mount to go through, and lightning holes here just to lighten it up. Alright, I want to start with select that line there, and we're going to try a fillet. Alright, I'm going to go by, oh, too big. Alright, so here, that's what 0.0, let me try 0.1. Then you got to select over here. 0.1 is not too bad, but I think I'm going to go 0.75. Oh, 0.075. All right. Now, I want to select this edge. So up here, I'm going to put select and add another edge in there. Hit OK. There we go. All right, now let's do a fillet here. Starts off with a small fillet. I don't know if 0.075 will work, but I'm going to type that in, see what happens. 0.075. Select over here. Okay, it did that. It did. I was afraid that if it intersects with this other fillet, it would break and we get an error. But what I'll do now is select that edge there. So I'm going to do a select. Put that edge in there. Okay. All right. Alright, let's do the easy part and put some holes in here, and then we'll do what I think is going to be the hard part, putting a knife edge there, and then we'll call it a day. Alright, so when you look at most knives, they're wooden handles where they're attached. They have like a rivet through here and here on both ends. Let's go ahead and put a rivet on there. So I'm going to select that. Well, not a rivet, I want to put a hole in there for it. Selecting that face, and I'm going to draw a sketch on that face. And that's the end of the handle. So here's 1 inch. So let's come over about a 1/2 inch and put a small hole there. I'm not sure what size I need to put yet, but I'm going to start with that. I think it's a 1/4 inch, 3/16 diameter. And I'll go 3/16, enter. And then from the z-axis over to the center, we're going to go with 0.5. And then, I don't know, that's too much, that's too much. I'm trying to get it right there about in the center. I'm going to close this because I want to get the length of that line there. It won't be perfect, but I know it's 0.47, and it's at an angle. It should be pretty close, 0.46. So if we go 0.23, we're good. Close it. Double click the sketch, and so we know we got 2 inches. I can reference this. Here, let me select, see this reference up here? Reference. Select that line. There we go. That gives me a reference point to go from there down to here. Alright, so center that hole to that reference point, and we want 0.23. Okay, I'm good there. Now we want to do something similar. Right in there. All right. Select it. 3/16. And based on knives that I've seen, you don't want it too close to the edge, and right there in the middle of that transition where it turns around is not really a good location. That's not a good location because it won't be fastened down here on the end. So in the middle of this general section here, like right about there is where I want it, without it getting too close to the edge. I think that's a pretty good location. Alright, so I'm going to go center to center, center to center. I'm just going to go with 3. No, I want to go a little bit more than that. .1. Yeah, 3.1. That looks about right. And then now I'm just going to take the height from the Y up to the center, and I'm just going to accept that. Okay. We got 2 holes here. I don't know if it's going to allow me to pad it or pocket it. So let's see. We have 2 holes and see if pocket works. Oh, it does let me pocket. That. Go ahead and change this to through all. There we go. So when you put your wooden handle on there, you've got your hole for a rivet. All right, now we're going to do another pocket, and then we're going to mirror. Well, let me show you what I'm going to do first. All right, I'm going to use that same face to create a sketch. Well, first I got to close this out. Close. Use that face, create a sketch. And what I've seen, use this, what I've seen is some knife blank companies will put something like that in there. Let me see if I can move it up a little bit. There. Yeah, something like that in there, and they run them along here to lighten up the blade, I believe. So let's go ahead and give some dimensions here. 0.05. We got 0.06. 0.06. Makes it a little bigger. Going to dimension this to here. Go 0.13, 1.3. Try here to there. 1.5. All right, what degrees of freedom do we have here? Okay, a height, I see. All right, so from here to the Y, yeah, I'm going to accept that height. Just hit OK there. And then we'll go from this center to that center. And we'll accept that height. I'm going to close it. And we're going to try padding that or pocketing it. Pocket through all, and then now we need to array some more lightning holes in there. Now that we got this pocket in there, number 4, I'm going to select, let me see, how do we do this? Oh, I think sketch. I haven't done this in a while, but I believe I can just select that edge and then array it. Let me close this out first. We're good with that. Now we want to do, I got to make sure the body is active. Well, there's only one body in here. There's a lot of activity going on here for just having one body, but that's sometimes what you do. You don't have to have multiple bodies to make assemblies. Just a single part like this can get pretty intricate. And the way that I chose to do this probably is not even close to how someone else would accomplish this night blink design, but it's the method I chose. All right, let me try a linear pattern, and So what's it asking? Add a feature. Select add feature. And I'm going to select the sketch. Nope. Maybe it'll just let me select the edge. There you go. Select the edge. Huh. Come on. Let me hold down Control key and select. Okay. Cancel that. Turn the sketch on. There you go. Turn that sketch on. And now let me try with that sketch on and it highlighted. Let me try polar pattern and see if that works, or linear pattern. Okay. It's trying to do something with the whole body. I didn't want that. Cancel. With that pocket selected, maybe that's what it is. I'm going to select the actual pocket and then select linear. Okay. That seems to be what instead of the body, the entire body, I just selected the pocket that we made that with. So that pocket now, we want that to be arrayed. And add a feature. Oh, pocket 4. Let me see what my options are here. 2 occurrences. I want it to be along horizontal sketch axis. No, I want it to be along the Y axis maybe. I'm just going to change the length here to 1 inch for now. Update the view. There we go. Okay. So 1 inch along the Y axis, which I set here. And we're going to use the overall length of 1 inch. And so far we have 2 occurrences in that 1 inch. 1 inch should be from there to there. Now let me set it to 3. Now we got 3. What the heck, while we're there, I'll go to 4. 4. And that provides the lightning holes. That's cool. Alright, but I want to go back now to 2. And then instead of using the overall length, I want to do an offset, see what happens there. Offset, I know that stays there. But I should be able to go, let's say I want them spaced 1/4 of an inch apart, 0.25. Let me select, okay, update, there we go. And then as I increase the occurrences, it should just set them to the right. There you go. So you have the option to put all of those, set an overall length, and then increase the number of how many you want in that overall length. Or like I did here, I chose offset and then just spaced them at 1/4 inch apart. And then I can control the number that I want in there. And honestly, a lot of the blanks, knife blanks that I see, most of them are, at least the ones that I've seen, only have 3 of the lightning holes in there. It may be for balancing purposes to take weight out of the handle so that the weight will be in the blade. I don't know. I'm not a knife maker, but that's what I'm guessing. All right. So I'm going to say OK there. And I would like the holes pushed a little more to the right. So I'm going to go over to my sketch. I want to add a 1/2 inch to each one of these dimensions here. First I'm going to delete this one so it doesn't get skewed. Oh, wait a minute. No. Alright, so if I add a 1/2 inch, that's going to be 1.8 instead of 1.5. So 1.8. Hit OK. Yeah, I knew it was going to do that. And then make that 2. Whoops. Alright, I wanted this to be, there you go, double click on that, make that 2. There we go. Alright, close and let's see what that looks like. There you go. Yeah, that kind of positioned them. I might pull it back 1/4 of an inch. 1/2 inch might have been too far. I could leave it at that, but I'm always the type that I want it to look a certain way. Let's go back 0.3, so let's make that 1.5. Okay, and double click and make this one 1.7. Okay, pull it back, hit close, and that looks a little better to me. Now the sketch white line needs to go away, so I simply turn that off over here on the left side panel. Alright, so far the night blink is looking pretty good. If I had a metal 3D printer, this would be pretty awesome to print. And then of course you'd have to probably shape your edge here. Alright, so with that in mind, let's do that. How do we do that? We need a line for our bevel to follow. So, let me get it over here. Yeah. So what I would want to do is just put a bevel there. Oh, you know what? I was going to draw it and go along a path. I can do that with this chamfer. Huh. That's totally doable. I didn't even think about that. Chamfer it on both sides. That, then chamfer. Yeah. We know that it's, well, what's the thickness there? I don't know. I'm going to cancel that because I want to find out what the thickness is. Select that line and then this wrench. Okay, we're at 0.094. Is that right? Yeah. Yeah. Yep. So 0.094. I would probably like to go to 0.045 as a chamfer. So select that. Oops, let me get out of this. Reset. Close it. I'm going to chamfer it at 0.045. Select over here. All right. Equal distance. Let's go 2 distances. Size 1. Size 2. I believe will go in the upward direction. Let's try it. Now let's go let's try 1. Select out there. No, it broke it. So let me put 0.045 on this side And then up here will be the 0.1. Okay, yep. So you see just a higher chamfer on that side. Good deal. So 0.1 and 0.45. Hit OK. You know what? I'm going to go back to that chamfer because I want to edit it, because now instead of doing a new chamfer, I should be able to just hit the select button here. The existing chamfer line is highlighted magenta. I want to select a new line now, that one. Hit OK. Oh my goodness. All right, folks, there we go. Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. Is that sharp enough? I don't know. Let's see if I can push the limits. Right click. Edit. Alright, let's go with, instead of that poor 4.5, 4.6, 0.046. Select out here to update. No, what happened? Huh. Oh, I went left. I should have went more. I should have, 0.046 is what I thought I selected. There you go. All right, let's see how close we can get this before it breaks, because it's updating the chamfer on both sides. If I go 0.47 and select out here, oh, it broke. So let's go back to 4.6, select out here. Now let's add a little bit more to that 0.46, 0.465. How about that? Ooh, look at that. It's getting closer. Let's go 4.66. Select here. Now let's go 4.7. And it's getting closer. And 8. And it's getting closer. And 9. Will that work? Oh, that might be our stopping point right there, because remember 4.7, and I only have my tolerances set to 4 decimal points, so my next one would be like 0.046995, but it's just going to round up to 0.47, and that broke it. So I use chamfers, and the length of that tip there, let me just hit OK. The tip measurement is 0.0002. I'll say that's pretty sharp. I'm going to go with that. If you were a perfectionist, which sometimes I claim to be, but I wasn't planning on using the chamfer for the knife edge. I don't know why I didn't think about that. What I was going to actually draw is a V here. I was going to draw a V on a sketch, and then draw something outside of the V and connect the two ends of the V and run that V along a path, the knife edge, and it would have given me a perfectly sharp point right there. But 0.7 .0002, I think it was, is pretty sharp in my opinion. You can zoom in, but on the human eye you can't see it. All right, there we go. And we can call this stainless steel. We can call it aluminum. That probably wouldn't make a very good knife. There you go. Do I want to color it? Maybe. Let me try going to the body, coming over here, pulling it up, go to the view tab, and the shape appearance. Could lighten it up a little bit. Oh, you know what? I can try to lighten it up a little, but I can also, there you go, it's lightened up a little bit. Let's try material, right click body. Material. Maybe that's what it is. I gotta do that and then select something down here like, there you go. Okay, it's not translucent glass. So that's what it is. You have to, in order to apply the material up here, you have to make it blank and then come down here and select stainless steel. I'm not seeing stainless steel, but 300 series, try that. 300 series steel. Okay. I'm not seeing color changes. It's aluminum, copper. Not seeing the change. I must not be doing something right here. Okay, there you go. Selected that. And now let me try copper. There you go. That's what it is. I have to have the body selected over here. Now, and then I can go down here and select a steel. So now let me try. 300. Okay. Yeah, it definitely has a different different appearance there. The way it's shaded. Not bad. All right, I think I'll keep that. Okay, that was fun. I had a good time with that shaping that blade. I didn't really follow any strict dimensions. The only thing I did was, is that I found that shape online, and I just kind of used that as inspiration and took a guess at how long the handle is based on a average size hand grip, I guess, and the length of the blade. The interesting thing for me was how in my mind I wanted to create a profile, a V-like profile that I would run along the edge of the knife to sharpen the blade, if you will. And I ended up using the chamfer command. I wasn't even thinking that, but then once I get in there, it's like, duh, I could do that. And as you saw, there are some limitations with chamfer commands. When they start to get too close to each other and overlap, they will fail. Um, so that was a good lesson to learn, and it may apply to something else you're doing in the future. I think that's about it. So hope you enjoyed it. I learned a lot actually, as I do with all the videos that I create, um, which is why I do it, to try to. It kind of forces me to take the time to learn more, um, especially putting myself into unrehearsed situations like that. It sharpens my thinking in FreeCAD. I still have a ways to go, but I enjoy doing it. And again, I hope you enjoyed it and have a great day. Steady as she goes.